Hey, motorcycle people! Tony back in the saddle. And if you look at what I got going on the dashboard here, we're on the Road Warrior version of the SG250. And there's a very good reason for that. We're going road tripping, baby. So today is not the day. I'm not leaving for another couple of days, but today is a shakedown, a dry run, if you will, of the changes and additions that I've made to get this baby ready for some touring duty. You may say to yourself, Tony, what the hell, man? You're gonna go touring on a 250? This little bike? And I'm gonna say, hell yeah, I am. Got a trip coming up this weekend, and we're going to roll about 450 miles each way on the SG250. I am super stoked. I'm excited to give it a try, to do long distance on this guy. I think it's going to be fun. I think I'm going to learn a bunch of stuff. I have no doubt that it will not be as comfortable as the time I rode my Tiger 900 to the Midwest and back. RAP Tiger 900, no longer in my garage, now happily residing with somebody who will love it appropriately. So yeah, I'm expecting some small discomforts, some minor inconveniences for being on this bike, but I'm also expecting big adventure. That is really what it's all about. Unfortunately, my trip is also coinciding with the arrival of summer in all its fury, and I'm looking at temperatures in the low 90s when I take off this weekend and through the first day or two of riding. So, oof, that's going to be uncomfortable. But, you know, you do what you can. You wear your mesh gear, you take a lot of water, and you take a whole bunch of breaks. And that's what it's going to be for me. A bunch of breaks. I'm taking the slow ride, if you will. Back roads. Staying off the slab, avoiding those highways, as we always try to do, and just meandering through the countryside at a leisurely pace. I'm so stoked. I can't wait to get going. The next couple of days of work are going to be miserable while I'm just trying to think more about that and planning my route and stuff like that, but Gotta get through the adult responsibilities. Fine. I was really hoping to be totally through the break-in of the Motocult Stage 4 kit that I installed and did my first ride on in a previous video. And unfortunately, life has intervened to keep me from racking up that many miles. But we're going to be close, probably, I think I'm going to call it close enough to go ahead and do an oil change before I take off. We're going to rock and roll. Not doing it today. I had a question. I will do a top speed test with the full Motocult kit installed. Not going to do that today, even though I'm going to jump on my favorite stretch of test highway. But I will do that. So in terms of kitting out the SG250 for touring duty, I've made a handful of changes. Some of them I think will be obvious to you in the view you're getting right now. Oh, most obvious is that windscreen. That is the Memphis Shades shooter in the, I think, dark smoke color. Ordered from our friends at CSC. I personally, aesthetically, prefer the bike without a windscreen. I think it looks a little better. However, now doing highway speed, I cannot deny its functionality. And as I'm going to be doing some 5 and 6 hour days in the saddle next week, I think it was a worthwhile investment. You know, changes up the feeling of the bike a little bit, be a little just get pushed around a little bit in ways you wouldn't have without it, but definitely reduces the air pressure blasted on my body. So that's upgrade number 1. This lane. Upgrade number 2. And you can see the phone, but you can't see the mount. I went for the quad lock wireless charging mount with their little 12-volt switchable cable. I don't know what to call it. It's the box with the switch in it that allows you to set it for it to automatically turn off when the bike is shut off. So I now have, and I already had a quad lock with the rubber vibration dampener. So now got that whole thing kitted out, and it's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie, that's a nice way to do it. Also here under my paws are some grip puppies. Cheap way to reduce vibration a little bit, and you know, for me, increasing the diameter of the bar of the grip is kind of nice if I'm going to be holding it for a long time. So just a quick speed check. I'm at 65 right now. Ignore the speedometer, it lies. It's wrong. I'm at about 65, 64 right now. I have throttle to go. Blink just a little there. I got some room. So that's 7. And it wasn't done yet. It was not done yet. Now, do I want to ride that speed all day? No. But that gives you a sense of what that moto-cult kit can do. My biggest thing that I've enjoyed about that is holding speed on hills. As I start to go uphill, instead of steadily losing momentum as I did before, even a little throttle, it'll keep going. That's nice. Also nice, I'm cruising right now at about 65. I'm at about 7,000 RPM, and as I showed you, I've gotten over. So, yeah, do I want to do like bonkers freeway speed at 70 all the time? No. Damn, man, I'm cruising at 60 to 65 comfortably. Bike doesn't feel overstressed. Got a little more in the tank if I need it. It's sweet. And as I told you on my first ride, the additional torque that I've gotten out of this kit is just wow, chef's kiss. Beautiful. We'll do a little more in-depth review of that. I think at the end of my upcoming trip, I'll do, I'll be at about 1,500 miles. It feels like a good time for a real long-term review of owning and living with a bike. But I've gotten distracted now. There are two other major upgrades that I've done to get the bike ready for touring duty. The first one, obviously, you can also see, is I went with the Scambler handlebars. I personally thought the Cafe Racer seating position on this was pretty darn good for a middle-aged dude. I found it surprisingly comfortable, but I also don't think I wanted to do 450 miles each way in that position. So on go the Scambler handlebars. Decided not to do an install video on that, first of all because it's not super interesting, but also my dear son was helping me with it, and he has not volunteered to be a personality appearing on my channel, and that is okay. I totally respect that. Whoa, that was a big bump. Alright, so, windshield, phone charger, grip puppies, scrambler bars. The last upgrade, something you can't see right now, but I can feel, and that is the Michelin Pilot Street 2 Pilot, I can't remember which way it is. The Michelin Pilot tires. To be clear, I never had a real problem of any sort with the stock, no-name Chinese tires. They work just fine, but heading out on a long-distance trip, I decided maybe I don't want to put my trust entirely in them, especially if I get caught in some rain. And so, I contacted the good folks at Cycle Gear, got myself a pair of the Michelin Pilot Street 2s, and got them installed at Cycle Gear, and now I'm rolling on brand name rubber. And I am well pleased with them. I don't notice a huge difference in the ride characteristics. I've only had them for around 150 miles or so, but the bike feels very planted. It feels very confident in corners. Again, is it hugely different than what it was before? I'm not so sure I can say that, but it's it's definitely not worse. So I think that also was a worthwhile upgrade for the long-term and long-distance use of the bike. And that is it. That is, I did not opt for a luggage rack, and that is pure vanity. No other reason than pure vanity. I think the CSC luggage rack is just fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I love the look of this bike so much, and I felt like adding a luggage rack would detract. So I didn't. And hauling duty will be handled with a Kriega 20-liter dry pack and an additional just dry pack roll bag that I got in my closet, fastened down with some rock straps. And that is it. That's what I'm going to have. And that, I think, will be just fine. It's a short trip. I'm not going to have that much stuff. So I just don't feel like I need to go make special accommodations. And look where we ended up. We're at Revzilla, like the mothership. And we're going in today to get some summer gloves because my old ones are shot. And I'm going to call it right here. Thanks, guys, for taking the trip with me. I cannot wait to talk to you from the road. And I will see you next time.